Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It just amazes me how easy it is to do this. It doesn't really take a lot of time, but it can give you so much clarity and change your life and move you forward. And oh, by the way, people have been doing it for, I don't know, thousands of years. We're going to talk about meditation today. Among other things, we're going to start with a wonderful life coach whose mission is to move you forward. That's actually moving you forward is the name of her business. She comes from a legal background and pivoted over to helping people really move forward as a life coach. Margaret Enloe joins us again here on the program. Hi, Margaret. How are you doing?
I'm good, Steve. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. Going to play tennis a little bit later, so enjoy being here with you and my friend Marty Katz. So I'm doing well.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I don't know, 50 miles away from you, suburb of New York City. Haven't done tennis so far this year. Got to get into it. I think I did a little rotator cuff thing last summer. I only play, during the summer, maybe like once a month. So I think I'm good to get back. So thank you for that reminder.
You're welcome.
Marty joins us. Tell us who Marty is to you.
Who Marty is to me?
Yes.
Oh, Marty is first of all my friend, and has also in the past helped me with brand management. Talking about what I do. You talked about me as a life coach. It's fair. I'm also a career coach and executive coach, depending on who my client is. But Marty has been somebody who's been in there all the time. He and I have talked over many years. He referred a client to me. And recently, actually, I did some meditation work with Marty. And we have some friends in common, which is also a nice factor about our relationship.
So do I have this right, Margaret? And by the way, Marty, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Very good. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll get to you. We have lots to talk about here.
Okay.
But back, Margaret, do I have this right that you're certified in PQ?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm certified in, yes, I am.
Positive intelligence. What is that?
Positive intelligence is a way of thinking about mental fitness as opposed to physical fitness. We're all very familiar with physical fitness and how we get stronger muscles. Positive intelligence is, in essence, Steve, something that helps people focus first on their saboteurs, things that get in the way of their being effective, like they're a pleaser, they're a hyperachiever, they're a controller, they're somebody who likes to delay doing things, and helps shift them into using their sage attributes. So things like their curiosity, things like taking action around things like being kind to themselves. And it's a program that helps people really focus on becoming more mentally fit by understanding the saboteurs that are most likely affecting them, and then helping them be fairly concrete about shifting into sage mentality so that they can shift away from the saboteurs and into a sage modality or sage way of thinking.
Interestingly, that I think just leads us right into this thing called meditation, because when you have PQ or a good positive situation with your mind, you probably gravitate over to meditation, which it sounds like you did yesterday with Marty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll just real quickly, that part of positive intelligence is helping people get into a place where they're not churning around in their minds, everything, just being aware of maybe sounds or being aware of the floor under their feet. So it helps get them into a more meditative kind of state. But unlike, I think, Marty, what you're doing with people, it's not a protocol for becoming good at meditation. So that's all I'd say.
Okay.
So yeah.
We all struggle with meditation. I do. There's some times where I still remember, even like 2-3 years ago, where I intentionally meditated, fell asleep, but I understand that's not a bad thing. And it was just a wonderful experience. But why do we make it so hard on ourselves, meditation? Why is that, Marty?
Well, yes, that's a good question. So we make it harder on ourselves really because our minds are constantly churning. And people will say, I can't sit. And I said, yes, that's exactly correct. Or I can't concentrate. Yes, that's correct. Because the mind is always churning. The mind will constantly spit out thoughts because that's the nature of the mind. So what happens in meditation is that there is a stillness that occurs. The purpose of meditation actually is to discover this stillness within. And peace and quiet are descriptors of that. Because when you are completely still, when you are in a state of nothingness, that's when you can actually begin to manifest. That's when you actually can get the stuff that you want, because then the mind is quiet and you can access all your internal resources so that you can move forward in whatever, whether it's a personal relationship or business or family issue or whatever this is, or a parent. So the purpose of meditation is actually to achieve that state of being still.
Well, that explains why the manifestation thing isn't working for most of us. Thank you very much for that. Myself
It's hard to
included.
be still. It's hard
Yeah,
to be
well, for sure, for sure. But you identify some really key things here. You know, if you even believe in manifestation, what you think becomes your reality, and you practice positivity. I believe this is coming my way. I just know it is. I believe in the whole process, but it hasn't really happened. Maybe if we meditate, that can be the ticket to manifesting properly. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, part of it is that manifestation, let's put it this way, meditation is not about belief. It's not like if I meditate, I believe that I will get what I want.
Sure.
It's about having the experience. So if I have the experience that I have a great business, or I have a great relationship, or I have a great a business partnership, or whatever the thing is, it starts with having an experience of it internally, and then it becomes externalized. So it's based on the Buddhist belief system, which I'm not going to go into great detail, is that once you have the experience of this something occurring, then it's a matter of simply expressing it in the outside world. So I believe that I'm successful is one way, or I am successful, and I take the steps necessary to do it. So you don't have the success on the outside first, you have it on the inside first, and out of an experience. It's a subtle difference, but it's key.
For
And
sure.
so and so, by the way, when you say you fall asleep, Margaret had this experience last week. You're not real in most cases. You're not really falling asleep. You go into a state of transcendence. So in transcendence, you feel sort of drowsy, but you still feel you're in your body. You're not like zonked out like you're taking a nap, unless that is possible that you just zonk out. When you're in that state of sort of sleepiness, that's actually when you are in a transcendent meditative state. That's actually a positive thing. That
Sure.
means you're achieving it. That's when your mind becomes very quiet. Everything becomes still.
I believe we're reverse engineering this as what meditation will do. We haven't got into how to do it, but I think this is wonderful in the way we're approaching it. When you want to manifest something, perfect person in your life, better abundance, whatever it may be, are you intentionally meditating for that? Are you thinking that? And is that getting you into that state where now you're truly connected with source, you believing that, yeah, this is coming my way, I deserve it, and all of that?
Well, what happens is, yes, you can actually sort of program your meditations. I'm healthy, abundance comes to me easily, constantly. My relationships are full of love. You absolutely can do that. That's how you can begin it. In the meditation that I teach and coach people in, it's based on mantra. Do you know what mantra is?
I mean, I know what a mantra is, but I guess not.
Well, a mantra is Sanskrit syllables that have vibrational frequency that engage the body in a certain level so that you can get into the state of quiet, and it engages the mind because the mind is constantly churning. So if you repeat this to yourself silently, that's how you get into the state, and that's how things become more available to you. So you could say, I'm dedicating this particular meditation to to a great love relationship. And then you go in, there's certain steps, there's a simple breathing technique that's involved, very simple. And there's repetition, and there's a certain focus you need to use on mantra through the whole process. It's not just sitting quietly. You could just do that, but it's in my experience, it's better to have a meditation where you repeat mantra.
It almost sounds like something I heard in the last year where it reframed my feeling of meditation is setting an intention, because maybe many of us would just say, all right, let me be quiet. I'm just going to lean back. I'm going to try and get into that state of quietness. Sometimes we think we have to sit like this and all this other stuff. Um, I never set an intention. So that sounds like what we're doing here
Yes.
through a mantra.
Yes, you set your intention, and you don't. You see, people think that meditation is just about being quiet and being chill.
Right.
That's not. That's not it. It is. It's quiet, but it has actions that's involved in it. It isn't
Sure.
just like taking a nap or lying down. You can do that if you want to.
Sure.
There's nothing to do with meditation. Meditation is a practice and it's a discipline. That's why people, in Tibet and India study for decades in caves. So it is a practice. It's a discipline. It takes time and focus every day to do it. Just before this Zoom meeting, I work at WeWork, and we have a so-called meditation room. It's really like a closet. Don't get too excited. It's not a lot of deities in there. It's just a closet. But nonetheless, I was there for about a half hour meditating just before this.
Wow.
And I meditated early this morning when I got up. So it is a discipline. It's just like riding a bike or lifting weights or
Right.
being on a diet.
Yeah. I'm going to work. I'm going to work on my mind. That's what I'm doing here. Marty, how long does it take you to get into a solid meditative state?
Well, it really depends. It depends on the time of day. It depends on what I've eaten, or how I've slept, or what's on my mind. Like if I'm concerned about a particular subject, that will occupy me, and that will make it harder for me to do that. That's why typically most people like to do it in the morning before you get involved in your day. You don't have to, but that is often what people typically do because you haven't got involved in business activities or family or school issues or whatever else is going on. You can also do it in the afternoon when you want to take a little break from all of these activities. So to answer your question, there is no one particular way. The best thing is to be open to the outcome and not have like a fixed goal that you have to achieve. So this is not for overachievers. Overachievers do other things. I mean, you can do well with meditation, but you don't get like ranked for your meditative experiences.
Yeah,
So I know someone because I'm very good at Headspace. I'm really great. Headspace is an app. I said meditation is not about overachieving. It's really about finding a place within you where you can feel and have the greatest experiences of yourself and produce what you're looking for without attachment to outcome. Because we say, if I meditate, where is the money? If I meditate, where is my love interest? So that's not the way it works. You take the steps and you let go of the outcome so that the meditative process reveals all these things to you. And it's work.
Yeah, everything's work. If you're planning with hanging out with your friends this weekend, it's work. Like, what time do you want to meet? Who's going to go? How are we going to get there? What time do you want to? It's work. It's fun, but it's work. Margaret, you wanted to jump in?
Oh, when Marty mentioned it's not for hyperachievers, I said, well, maybe that's why meditation might be a little hard for me, because on my saboteur assessment, I score rather high on hyperachiever. And it's Steve, if you were interested in how you scored on the saboteur assessment, you could go to positiveintelligence.com, and on that, pretty much just scroll down a little bit, and then there's a assessment that you can take, and it'll give you results about your saboteurs. My top one, I just did it last week, again, was hyperachiever. But I didn't have, the other ones were not too heavy. I've seen it with clients, their results where they have very high, let's say, controller, victim, pleaser. They're very high being 10. The highest is 10. So I think I'm moving my saboteur down.
I'm going to jump into that, and I believe I I started it and didn't have enough time. If I remember, my memory's weird.
No,
I
no,
just remember it being orange. There was an orange
no,
background.
I don't remember, but it's really short. It'll take you
Okay.
less than 5 minutes or
Oh,
let's say 5 to 10 minutes.
have you done strength assessments?
I have. In the past, I did it. Yes. It was
Um,
interesting to see that.
which one do you recall doing?
I, oh, it was too long ago. It was the standard one, the one that originally came out with a strengths assessment, strengths, what did you call it? Strengths.
Cliff?
Yeah. I did it
I-
from the original company that had it. Yeah. But it was
yeah.
it was over 10 years ago. It was a long time ago.
It's interesting though when you see that, but this is like almost the other side of it, the saboteur section of it. When you did the guided meditation yesterday with Marty, Margaret, what happened? What did you feel? What did you experience?
Marty was very good at getting me to settle down. Quiet being, as you mentioned earlier, Marty, is so important, or stillness, I think is the word you used.
That's it.
And hard, one of the hard things for me, and Steve, it sounds like for you maybe too, is being still. Marty was able to get me to, by talking to me about some things, about going over the mantra, asking me a few questions to get me to be still. And then I just kind of, we shut our eyes and I sat there at my desk and was able to have a good posture. I think that's important.
It is.
You can't
Hmm.
lounge around in your beach chair and have a good meditation. So I got to where, yes, I told Marty, I said, Marty, I think I fell asleep. He said, and then Marty, as you explained earlier, probably wasn't really sleep, but a transcendence moment.
Mhm.
All right. And so it was relaxing, and I think for people that practice it can be very, very helpful.
I'm seeing a whole different side of this today. And I'm gratified that we're talking about it because the manifestation part I've been practicing, maybe not as well as I could or should. I can have a book, it's 369, like one of the classic books about and Nikolai Tesla is on that 369
Oh,
principle.
really?
I only got 12 pages in. That was last October. So I gotta revisit that. However, what I believe is missing, I feel for me and many, is that the connecting to you, truly connecting to your source of power. And
Mhm.
that is where the magic happens in manifestation. There's a lot of things I believe. Whatever these things are, I full on this. I have no doubt that that is coming my way. And that's also going to be happening. I really, truly believe it. But
Good.
what I feel is missing is I'm not tapping into me in the way that meditation can. That makes sense.
Absolutely, because among other things, that manifestation, excuse me, that meditation allows you to do in the process of manifestation is you tap into your own intuition with ease. And we're all intuitive beings.
For
I have a
sure.
feeling about this person. I have a feeling about this particular
Yeah.
business proposition or this vacation. People always, they call it, they're feeling about it. It's sort of intuitive. And then out of that comes a kind of knowing. So you just know this is the best decision for me. And that really does come from source. And then that is typically obscured by all the thoughts and the doubts and the questions and the constant repetition of old stories. I tried this, 5 years ago, it didn't work. And you get all of these kinds of issues that obscure your own power.
Sure.
This is a way to take all those clouds and move them out of the way so you can actually experience your own source, your own power, so that through meditation you can take the steps to find and manifest what you're seeking in this lifetime.
It's like the key to your mind.
It is exactly.
Hmm. Yeah. And the logic gets in the way.
Mhm.
In the last 5 years of my journey, and there's been lots of changes, I pilot by this one thing. All I need is within me now.
It's
All I
true.
need is within me now. And that's it. You need an answer. You can't choice A,
Right.
choice B. You already know the answer. We all know the answer. This gets in the way. This is just, it's your friend and it's your enemy at the same time to make that decision.
Exactly. So, your mind will manage you unless you manage your mind.
Hmm.
That's a key principle in meditation, is to manage your mind. So you want to draw from it because it's very useful. It's like a computer chip. It has all kinds of information that's useful, but also has information that's not useful. So you have to manage it. And that's really a lifelong journey, to be able to manage your own mind spitting out information so that you can make sure that you separate the wheat from the chaff. And so your mind is always churning. And so we want to be sure we get the best value out of it. And underneath that is our true nature, our true cellular self, what we really are as source, as you mentioned, Steve.
Almost out of time here, and I want to get back to Margaret and her process in just a split second. But got to ask you, Marty, do you recall manifesting something? We don't even need to know what it is or was, and it came to fruition through your through your meditation.
Absolutely, in personal and professional settings, where I wanted a particular client, and I just said, "This is the client for me, and I'm going to make this happen. I am making this happen." I did. It was not. It was not a subjunctive as I would or I could or any. I hope this client is mine, and I meditated on it repeatedly over a period of time, and it happened with ease. So
Mhm.
absolutely, that has happened to me, and I've seen this in others as well. That they had some big agenda, and I suggested a certain technique, which I can't go through all the pieces right now. And I've seen this this is recent too, where these people, through this particular ideation that I have about meditation, they absolutely manifested it to be.
Mm. Two words. So exciting.
Right?
Because anything is possible.
It
Anything
is.
is possible. And it all lies within us. Margaret, thank you for bringing Marty to the table today.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
and this is all just, I would imagine, this part of your PQ program, not meditating, but it's all about this up here and what
Yeah.
you offer in terms of coaching people through their businesses and challenges and limiting beliefs and all of that.
Yeah.
How do we connect with you? How do we engage you, even if it's just for a starting conversation?
Steve, people can connect with me through LinkedIn. In fact, I just posted something today that talked about intuition, and with my website, which is margaretenloe.com, or email Margaret, me@margaretenloe.com. My email is me@margaretenloe.com. So those are three ways to connect with me.
Love it. And that's how we connected recently. And shame on me for not loving my LinkedIn. I kind of let it go to the side. I'm back to the table. It's because of you, Margaret. You messaged me. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to be watching this thing. So yeah, I got to
And
meditate on that.
I know how, Marty, I'm happy if you put up your email. I mean, want to tell people how to connect with you because you're.
Yeah, for sure. So you can also go to LinkedIn, Marty Katz. That's me. So you can contact me there. And also my email address is marty@connectors360.com. That's my business email, marty@connectors360.com. And I'm happy to talk to anybody about meditation. And I can explain more about it. And if you want to, I can meditate with you. It's something I do with great joy and passion.
Love it. Thank you both so much for today. Learned a lot,
Thank you.
reinforced this meditation thing, and truly appreciate it. Thank you again.
Okay, you're
For
welcome.
sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Steve.
Bye, bye
Bye,
now.
Marty.
Bye.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.